We are live. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Dirk?
Just another day here in paradise, right?
It's hot here.
It's a little warm. It's like the mid 70s here, but it's not as hot as where our guest is.
Mm,
So let's bring Satu on really quick. We'll just jump right into it so that we can get him out of the cat room as soon as we can.
What's up, y'all? SatuDave. What's happening?
What is going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. Just chilling out as much as I can, anyhow.
it's great to have you on, Dave.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate the invite, man. Like, never done the live thing before. I guess it's kind of overdue, but I've dropped in on a few, but never been on one. So I can't read anything comment-wise. I'm just going to tell everybody in the audience that I can't see any of that. I'm just seeing Dirk and Alex. So in case y'all comment,
any important comments,
yeah,
any important comments we'll put on the screen and we'll read some off, and it's all good. I kind of try to keep an eye on the comments, but sometimes I get just wrapped up in the discussion, and then I'm looking down, and so we'll see. Stacy is here. She came just for you. She commented earlier and says, well, SatuDave's going to be on there. I better be here. And I'm like, oh,
I know.
Alex aren't good enough, but that's okay. We love her anyway, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
She can come whenever she wants to come, I guess, if we've got a worthy enough guest.
I know. Stacy's like our ambassador too. Like she's every single episode be posting like people's channels. Like, yeah, we love Stacy. Stacy, you rock.
Yeah, she's pretty good, like little moderator type person and stuff like that. So good supporter.
Yeah, I don't even know what moderators do. I'm so ignorant to the whole thing. I hear people talk about it all the time.
She kind of goes in there, and if people like leave crappy comments with a bunch of swear words, stupid like bots and porn stuff or whatever, she gets rid of that. And
I got you.
Then she'll put like a link to your channel, and she'll put a link to our channels in the comments so people know who we are, and like that sort of
what she's doing.
Exactly. So James says he hopes that we get Bobby Legs back on the schedule. Yes, we were sad that he couldn't join us last time. We've been talking to him. We will get him back on. It's just now a timing thing, but we'll get him on for sure.
Yes.
But so what were you guys carrying today? Alex, well, let's let Dave go first. Our esteemed guest.
Right
what were you carrying
I was actually doing some electrical work, and I had that Project X that I made this. Well, let me see if I get in the camera here. Wrong way. Where am I going? Yeah. All right, there we go. I made this scale for it and the backspacer for this guy. But anyway, you can see it's beat up a little bit today because it's doing a little bit of wire duty today.
Perfect.
Strip some stuff to install.
I actually wanted one of those.
I like it actually. And I'll do the thumb stud mod on this one too. Sorry, I'm backwards on this camera thing.
No, it takes a little while to get used to where to move your hand.
The thumb stud mod on this one really makes it way, way, way better as far as like for me, like traditional hinders, with that used to the thumb stud and the flipper kind of thing.
Yes,
it makes a huge difference having that thumb stud for me. That's generally speaking, if it has a thumb stud, that's my go-to, whether it's from the thumb or flicking, either way. But that whole dual thumb studs on this is what they should have done from the factory, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I had in pocket today for most of the day, anyhow.
That's got a really nice blade shape. I actually found that to be one of the most attractive hinder kind of blade patterns.
Yeah, visually, I definitely dig it. I
still think almost like a double clip,
Yeah, I still think the 24 is my favorite, but the X is really close, man. It's a good size knife, and I like the way it's performed so far has been pretty good. I think it came a little chippy when it first started. And after I got through a sharpener or two on it, it seems like it's performed much better now. But,
nice.
Everybody has different results. That's just my results on it.
Well, if you talk to like the professional sharpener guys, they tell me that the factory edge isn't going to last very long, and that you need to sharpen it maybe 2 or 3 times for it to really be a good performer.
Yeah, I can kind of see that too. I'm definitely no expert in sharpening, that's for sure, but I can put an edge on something. So.
Nope. I send all my stuff out. I'm not even going to try. I messed up too much stuff as a kid in Boy Scouts, the stone. I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to try. I'm good. I know my limitations, and I know when to call the professionals.
I hear you.
Or just send to Alex, and he's close enough for me.
Yeah, I did this one for Dirk right here. I still need to send it back to you. And then I actually showed him how sharp it was by shaving my legs with it.
Oh wow, that's a cool little knife for like $70.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool little knife. but yeah, he had some edge damage. That
What is
wasn't
that
really that bad.
I can't even
That's
see what it is.
the Best
what do you
Tech
call this
Man Ronin.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the Best Tech Man Ronin. That is correct. And it actually has a very nice little spring to like that little Omega spring lock bar thing.
Yep.
I actually like it kind of better than a Benchmade, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I carried that one when I was in Utah in April and May and used it a lot and actually cut open a bunch of sandbags with it. And that's where it kind of got jacked up because when you're cutting into the bottom of the sandbag where the sand is so that it can all dump out, maybe not recommended use.
Hey, you got to use something, right?
It did the job really well. So what were you
That's
carrying today, Alex, when you went out to the range and to the park with your kid, I think?
I carried, actually, I've been carrying this for a few days. This is the ProTech Malibu. This is the operator edition with a little tritium button deal, all blacked out. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I just think like this is probably one of my favorite button locks I've ever owned. I've owned a few, like the Brian ties and a couple other things like that. But this thing just has like such a like good like detent. You see how much I can charge my finger before releasing the energy. So it's like it just, I don't know. It feels almost like it has a detent ball, but it doesn't. If that makes sense.
They did that right somehow. That model is probably one of the top button locks that's out there.
I agree. I liked it so much I bought two. I have a custom one too. So, but yeah, that's what I had.
So what'd you have, Dirk?
Very cool. I had the VC Edge interface number 80.
Big leaguiness. You big leaguiness.
It's just what I grabbed.
I hear you.
There's a new Facebook group for VC Edge stuff that I've kind of been joined, and so it's kind of gotten me back on the VC Edge kick a little bit this last week. So that's the one I had today.
That's a great knife. Jason's the bomb.
Yeah, Jason does some great work. He's also just a really cool guy to sit and chat with. I had the opportunity to go to lunch with him and his girlfriend back at the knife show down in Southern California in, when was it, February?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's when it was.
February, maybe. So we went out to lunch, hung out for a couple hours. It was very cool.
Was he the guy that made his own CNC before he even knew how to run one?
Not sure.
No,
he's a former FA airframes mechanic.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. There was some maker, I can't remember. I thought it was on this show that he was talking about. He made a CNC. He took a manual mill, made it a CNC. He didn't even know how to run it. I'm like, how do you do that? Like,
I think I remember that conversation. I think that was a maker, but it wasn't him.
I think that was Jim over at Odin Custom.
Oh,
either that. Yeah, it was either. Yeah, I think he was either Jim or the Stang Bladeworks dude.
Maybe Stang. Yeah, Derek Stang. It was one of those two.
Derek or Jim. Yeah.
Yep. Who both have CNCs now.
Right on. Right on.
Good memory.
And then you got Luck here, who needs something because he's started making knives a little bit ago. Just relocated to Utah, getting all settled in there. Right on, and next time I'm there, Naf, I will definitely let you know ahead of time so we can get together.
Very I think that's probably the journey that I'm going to go down eventually is trying to make my own stuff. It's just, it's like you elevating the hobby to a certain point and you're like, what else is left but to make your own? Like, I don't know, like once you're in here a while, I guess that's kind of sort of what I feel like. I keep modding and learning and modding and learning. I have the machinist background so I can already produce certain things that I want. Like it's kind of the logical next step, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and then you're out there bringing out the hinder. You're like, oh, I just made a scale and backspacer for it.
And then we got Craig, one of my watch friends, who I turned him onto the Kubi, and so he bought one of those, and he used that to open up his new Omega Bond watch that he bought yesterday, or had bought it the couple days before it got shipped in, which is a super cool watch, all titanium, on my list. I drool over it at my AD every time I'm there.
Yeah, those are rad.
Very cool watch. So, Dave, tell us tell us your little story. Where'd you come from? What you do, and how you got into modding the knives and what that's all about for you.
All right. So I've been machining basically on and off since the Navy in like early 90s. So a long time I've been machining. And basically the knives are just something I picked up along the way and enjoyed. You know, I've had other things that I did, fabrication of motorcycles and that sort of thing. I build bikes and all that. It's just another thing, you know, like as we go through life, we just kind of connect with certain objects and go. And knives to me, I guess, when I met my wife in early like 2008, 2009ish, that was the one thing that we actually bonded on was knives and motorcycles. So we used to ride around to all these little stores, and we lived in North Carolina at the time. We would ride almost to South Carolina to go to this gun range and look at knives and shoot guns, and it's just something we connected with. So ever since then, it's kind of been just evolving, and to the state where it's at kind of now. The modification part was just like, a lot of times buying knives on secondary, you get something that ain't quite up to par or it needs to be tweaked. And I think that's how I kind of sort of got into it to start with. It's like, all right, I like this knife, but I need to fix this. And then, or I don't like this about it. How can I fix this? And I just applied it to what I already knew as far as machining and stuff goes. And I've worked at a shop. I don't work there now. I guess kind of sort of like when they need something, they can call me. But I worked at that shop for 11 years, and it got to a point where it's pretty much a job shop, and they got to a point where they slowed down a little bit. And I said, hey, can I slide in and use some of the machines to make like scales? So I made a run of Satu scales and that sort of thing and sold them. And it worked out fine for them. They didn't care at all. So it's kind of
sweet.
Yeah, it's just kind of evolved. And now I got a mill and a CNC mill and lathe sitting in the shop. I just need the lathe runs. I just need to get some tooling and stuff for it. But the mill still needs to be wires chased down and figured out what's wrong with it until I get it running. But I hope by the end of this year at least to be making something, either scales or something of my own or whatever, you know, having fun with the machinery and enjoying the hobby through that route more, I guess.
Okay. Is there a plan on the horizon to make your own knife line?
I think eventually I would like to do that, but I like to do things in steps. I'm just that kind of guy. I'm not a dive in head first and hope I can swim kind of thing. I like to kind of feel my way through things. So I think I got kind of laid out a few plans I want to do. Like I want to reblade a CRK, you know, some things like to challenge my abilities until I get up to that step where I know I can make one and I can have the geometry I want, and I'm not making a turd that someone else has to, you know, deal with, or I can't sell, or whatever the case. But eventually, probably way down the road. Eventually, I'd like to get there. I'm not there yet. So
that's kind of like how Razor's Edge started. I don't know if you're familiar with Josh from Razor's Edge.
Right.
He started out just modding and pimping stuff, and then he got into reblading, like he does those crazy PM2 blades. And you know, he's actually now gotten to the point where he's made a few of his own folders. So that's usually the progression, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, also, it's like the hobby. Like, you can go in a million different directions with it. Like, some people like staying in the budget realm. That's where they're comfortable. Right. I think most people kind of elevate a little bit, but then there's always comfort zones in that, you know, where you get to a certain point, you're like, that's more money than I really want to invest in the hobby. But you still have the time you can spend in it. So, like, sharpening, we were talking about that earlier. Like, that's like another skill that I can pick up and go, okay, I might not have a whole lot of money, but I got the sharpening system and I can learn how to sharpen. Or I got these stones, I can learn how to sharpen. And it just kind of drags you more into the hobby as you have free time. And I think that's kind of sort of my state of progression here. Is just kind of more like, it's just progression. It's not like I'm not aiming for this. I'm not aiming to be a knife maker. It's just, I could see myself drifting that direction, especially now that I got some equipment that I can actually do something with.
Well, and I think that's a good point. And I think, you know, Luck Knives here says a lot of custom makers started out pimping knives, which I think is totally true. And then you've got the guys that, like Mike, now Sergeant here, that is a mechanic. So he's mechanically inclined and he tinkers with stuff, and that's his job. So it's a natural progression for him to then start to make a knife as he's gotten into this hobby and understood what he likes, what he doesn't like. Much like you know, hey, you've bought something on the secondary that didn't quite work, wasn't quite right. So you made a scale because you have that ability. And then it just kind of grows. And like you said, that takes you in a different direction. And it just kind of flows. I think we all enjoy the hobby in a different way.
For sure, definitely. And everybody's got their own individual path. That's what I love so much about the hobby. Is like we all have those overlapping moments where we kind of connect to another individual. Like I think I've connected with both you and Alex basically on the custom knife market. Like some of the production we might have overlapped on, but like for the most part, like my likes kind of overlap yours when the production, I mean in the custom realm and that sort of thing. And like I think most people aren't into like one particular YouTube channel or Instagram channel or whatever, you know, they're not into just one thing. They're in a big variety of different things and get exposed to as much as you can kind of thing. And we just all go down our different paths, you know, like I didn't really set out to like all the big, heavy overbuilt bruisers that I do, but it's just when I put it in my hand, what feels good and what I like to use when I'm actually doing work. So like, it's just how it progressed for me, you know?
I think we all kind of evolve throughout the hobby.
Yeah.
Whatever hobby it is, knives, watches, you know, guns that we're not supposed to talk about on YouTube, whatever, like, or running or, you know, bicycling or, you know, whatever your hobby is. I think you all start off, for me anyway, you start off on the budget stuff because you don't know anything about this hobby. So you're going to buy just a bunch of little things so that you have a lot of quantity, so you can experience a lot of different things. For me, it was like spider comb benchmade. Yeah. And my brother is in law enforcement, retired now, but his partner was a benchmade dealer. So I got super great discounts, no tag. I could buy anything because he didn't care. And I was able to pick up a bunch of benchmade stuff and experience a lot. And then I could sell those and trade those to then work my way up the hobby.
Right.
And then I did. I got into the big overbuilt folders, the Medfords and the Hinderers and the, you know, Phil Harvey, like some of the crazy just overbuilt stuff.
Right.
And then I started getting into the crazy custom stuff. And then it was all over. And then life just sucked.
I'm kind of scared watching you guys. I see some of the stuff you got. And I'm like, is that me next? I'm not going to go with that price range next.
But it doesn't have to be, because if we look at Alex, who's kind of similar, but he has some nice customs, don't get me wrong, but he has stayed in more of a budget friendly realm, I think, than I did. I went a little nuts, and yes, I have a five-figure.
I'm not budget friendly. You're just on the extreme.
I mean,
like, 10 grand for a knife, 10 grand, 4 fishers is extreme, Dirk. That's not the norm.
Well, no, I have a couple. No. Hold on. That's 4 battles. There's more fishers than just the battle.
Okay, let's I rest my case. So like,
which is a little much. I'm gonna admit that right now.
This right here is like production stuff. This up here is like a little bit more custom. These are some more customs. So I'm kind of like 50-50. But yeah, you know, but I've gotten to the point now, like I think Dirk and I were having this discussion the other day where you're like, I don't really want to buy shit anymore. Like I got so much shit. Like I'm pretty happy with my collection. And you know, yeah, that's a pretty cool feeling actually.
And for the most part, I am pretty happy with my collection. Like Alex and I, we talk all the time. And there's a few things that I want that I will ultimately get. I'm not going to call them grails. I've already gotten my grail, and I don't throw that term around very much. But I'm not out buying every shiny thing. I'm at a point where I'm good. I'm comfortable with my collection. It doesn't. It kind of helps my knife collection that I'm buying a house right now, because I won't be able to afford anything for a little while because I got to recover from that purchase. But I'm pretty happy. There's nothing I have to have. I don't need to buy every shiny thing right now, and I'm good.
Do you guys put limitations on your collection? Like, so when I kind of got, I was away from the collection hobby for, I mean, I was still in it nice, but I kind of got away from the collecting thing for about 6 or 7 years. When I got back in it, I kind of dove head first back in it and started buying a lot of stuff that I had missed over that time period. And my wife and I talked, and we had an agreement of 40 knives. And I don't think it's been 40 knives for years now, but it's still the number I'm supposed to hold is 40. It's just, or at least 40 folders, not necessarily knives, but 40 folders. And I don't know. It's like that limitation helps me trying to fine tune what I have and what I'm going to use and what I want to keep. So like recently I got a GTC Torque, which is from like a 2014. It's a very unique custom. Yep. And you don't see GTCs that often. And this is one of 14 or something of this model or style. He milled it or something. I can't remember, but it's such a unique piece. I can carry it. I can use it, but it's so unique. It doesn't make me want to do that with it. It's like one of the ones I want to leave in the safe. So I get torn sometimes between, do I want to keep a knife like that for just collection reasons, or do I want to actually use it, or should I move it to the next guy who's going to enjoy it for a safe queen or whatever? I get torn in that sometimes.
I have those same problems sometimes. I don't have a budget and I don't have a number quantity. Like I have nothing. It's unlimited. Like, not that I'm buying unlimited things, but I haven't put any restrictions on it. Right. If there's something that I see that I want that's at a price that I think is, for me, reasonable. Most people don't think what I have spent on a knife is reasonable a lot of times, and that's okay. We're all allowed our opinions.
Oh, yeah.
I buy it, or I work a deal with them, and I get it. And but I have started to look through my collection and be like, do I need to keep all of these?
Right.
Because A, I don't carry them, but I like them for their collectability. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I do carry them. Like there's certain sentimental-ish pieces, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Because I bought it from Jim Skelton. Do I want to sell any of the ones that I bought from him that he collected first, that I drooled over on his YouTube channel, and then I finally now own?
Right.
Like, I don't know that I ever want to get rid of those ones. Things like that.
Yeah, a lot of connections from friends that I get the knives from, and you just want to hold on to it for that reason. Like, I'm looking at a bunch of knives here I got sitting here, and I can tell you I got 90% of them, the people I got them from, not necessarily like what I paid for the knife, but I can tell you I know I got that one from my buddy. Like it's all of them. It's cool, like to have that history behind the knife.
I agree. So I have a harder time selling knives than I do buying knives. I mean, some of them I get. I'll just buy off of line somewhere or something, and I get it, and I'm like, yeah, I just don't like it. It's a cool knife. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't speak to me. It doesn't fit my hand right. Whatever. Those ones are easy to sell.
Yeah.
But the ones you like, and then once you like gotten a connection with a maker,
mm-hmm.
it would be hard to sell because we worked on this together to come up with its configuration.
Right.
And same with Jim Skelton. He made a fixed blade for me. Well, he made it for somebody else who backed out, and then I got it. Well, it glows in the dark. I can't get rid of it now. So, yeah, I think we hold on to things because we're a little bit dumb.
Sometimes, yeah, for sure. And sometimes it's a monetary thing. Like we've all been in those situations where like, oh, I need a couple grand to do something, time to sell a few, make some money and recoup when you can kind of thing too. That's part of the evolution of the collection too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely all been there. But yeah, I think like self-imposed limitations, like I heard, who was it that was talking about it? Carter, I can't remember what his name was. At one point, he wasn't into any of the Chinese knives, not because they were Chinese, but because he couldn't keep up with who makes what, where, and he wanted to know it all or none. So he kind of just, for his own sanity, stayed out of that realm. So it's kind of weird how we all kind of cleave ourselves into little groups like that, It's kind of strange.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a comment from Detroit, Alex, that you've got more steel than a medieval armorer behind you. It's probably not wrong.
Now that's funny right there. I don't care who you are. Yeah, somebody asked for the arch nemesis, so I thought I'd flip it out.
Yep, CPM was asking about that. And then I think I saw a comment up earlier from Hinderer Collector. Thanks for joining, Hinderer Collector. You're starting to make knives now?
There he is. The arch nemesis. So this is one of those knives I'm going to keep, like, I don't think anybody makes a better dagger than Brian, and I still think this is the coolest flipping dagger ever made. Like, coolest one. I know Kurt American made a decent one. A couple other guys made them. But, I mean, Brian is just a magician when it comes to knives. it took me so many years to convince him to make me a custom knife because he just doesn't do that. Like, and when he finally said yes, you know, like this is what we made, and this one also glows in the dark, Dirk.
Yep, so, I remember that.
Yeah, it's got that uranium Revere Noble stuff from Germany. I actually bought the material before I even knew what knife it was going to go on, so it kind of worked out well.
So he makes knives, but does he just design them and get production knives done? He doesn't make custom knives too, or he just does limited?
He'll make custom knives too, but they're usually auction. Or like if you go to like the blade show, like you can get maybe one at his table. That's about it. Okay. Like,
so what's he do full time then? Is he machining other parts for other people, or is he full time knife maker?
Full time knife maker. He started out as a machinist. And there's a Knife Nuts podcast episode, one of the early ones, where he talks about how he got into it by accident. But he just, like. I mean, I've seen plenty of CNC knives. Like some of the people that say that it's still hard to believe I got a custom from Brian. Hey, dude, I was harassing him before he even got big. Like, put it that way. So, you know, for 4 years of harassment, maybe more. Yeah, you know. But I wouldn't even bother now because he's blown up so big too. I think he's just too busy, and he's kind of more trying to make his I think his mentality was you know, making a lot of custom typhoons and all the other things he started out doing. And then the one that really blew him up, I think, was the Arch Nemesis. And then I think now he kind of wants to like sit back and relax a little bit and just kind of enjoy the fruits of his labor by doing some productions. As a matter of fact, he just released today, he's going to do production chicanes, and I am definitely going to get one of those. I almost bought Jim Moore's. I almost bought it. I probably should have. I'm a dumbass, but yeah, at the time, I don't know. There was like a few things I was kind of considering, and then I just ended up not getting it. But Jim Moore's got a beautiful Sharp Eye design. I think he's got a few custom from Brian. I think he's got a Tempest as well. So yeah, Jim's got a great collection. He's one of those examples of having not a huge collection, but holy shit, there's some crazy gems in there.
Yeah, Jim sent me several knives to talk about. He needs to send me some more, hint, hint. And then we've got Hinderer Collector, who's actually, he is making his own knives now, and he's actually making one for Rick Hinderer.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have you on a podcast coming up here so we can talk about that.
Are you making fixed blades or folders?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hinderer Collector, are you making fixed blades or folders? And what are they? Well, you can't really show us what they look like, but we'll have you on. Yep, and we'll talk about it.
So, Jim, I just got to let you know, actually, I'm really glad to see that because I think I disagree. Like, to me, this is a keeper, but I'm glad that it stayed with his collection because those specific knives are really rare. I really like it when I see it in a good home. You know, somebody who really appreciates it, treats it nicely and everything. And man, Jim's got a great collection. Cool dude too. I love hanging out with him once in a while.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. And he's into watching, so you know he's got to be okay. And he's got to be crazy like us, so.
You guys
EDC says that making folders is a whole different level. Yeah, it's totally different to make a folder than a fixed blade.
Yeah, I don't think I'd even start to make a fixed blade. I think I'm going straight for folders personally. Like, it's just what I'm into. Like,
a lot of people just do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's whatever you're into, right? If you're into fixed blades, I guess fixed blade makes sense because it's simpler. You don't have to worry about the mechanics of it, you know, machining and what sort. But I don't know. I guess everybody has their own thing. Like, I kind of posed the question last week when I did a YouTube video. Is like, if you were starting your own knife company, what would you do? How would you do it? So like, I used Lefty for an example because, you know, he's into like the higher production knives, but yeah, he produces he produces some of the, I guess you'd call some of them higher production, but a lot of them are more of the budget realm. So like, is that a conflict of interest for him, or is that, You know, like I'll just pose that question, like just not picking on the dude, just
yeah.
the question, you know.
Oh, you can pick on him. I don't care.
Exactly.
I like him. He's good people, man. He's good people. He really is.
Well, what are you waiting on, James? Just buy one. The Deep Black Planet Ocean GMT like mine. Perfect watch. Ceramic case. It's beautiful. It's only like 10 grand.
Only 10?
Only
That's
10.
crazy. Yeah, I know. That's
Actually,
crazy.
their prices just went up, I think, in July 1st.
Oh.
So it might be a little more now.
Wow.
Maybe it was June 1st. I don't know. Omega prices did just go up recently. Not significantly, but they did go up.
All right, so now do you have more watches than knives or vice versa?
No,
Okay.
God, no.
Okay, I'm just asking, man.
I have about, I'd have to look because I'm that crazy guy with a spreadsheet of all my knives and watches and stuff. But I have around 70 knives, give or take. And I have under 20 watches.
That's still pretty significant, though.
Some of those, and the 20 watches include some like $20 Casio G-Shock, you know, $50 things. For the high-end watches, there's 3 Omegas, 1 Rolex, a Grand Seiko, a Tudor, and I think that's it. I think that like 6 of the high-end watches.
Right on.
Oh, King Collector says he's making a he might make a friction folder.
Oh, okay.
That's a good way to go to start.
Yeah.
And only 70. Yeah, only 70. But I have pretty good quality that I make up for in my quantity. You know, my quantity I make up for in quality, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, you got a good variety of like budget all the way to higher end stuff.
And I have a variety. That's kind of where I am. And I talk about that before. I have from like on my channel, I review $10 knives up to $10,000 knives because that's what I own.
Right.
And so I feel comfortable talking about everything in that range. And I like everything in those price ranges. I'm not really stuck on, it's only $50. I don't want it. If I like it, if it works and it's $50, great. If I like it and it works and it's $9 grand, maybe it's worth, you know, yeah.
Hey, yeah, Gary's here. Gary Jarowski.
Gary.
What's up, Gary?
What's up, Gary?
Oh, here you go. Gary wants to be on your books, Dave, and he wants to be the first one on the list. Gary has been a strong supporter of my channel since I started. Like he's sent me stuff, and he's a great dude to deal with.
Yeah, he's been a strong supporter for me too. Actually, he won one of my giveaways a while back, 550 with the copper scale on it, the ZT 550.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a picture, that's he won it for me.
So he's a great one to have first one on your list there. You already got one sold.
He's good people for sure.
And yeah, Craig says that most Switch watch prices went up. Yep.
Everything went up, man.
Though, right?
Yeah,
everything's going up.
Everything's going up.
Yeah. I had to get some electrical supplies, and just finding electrical supplies to do the job I needed. I had to go to 3 different Lowe's just to find what I needed, and then you got to pay whatever they're asking. So you didn't really, you know, double, triple the price. You still got to pay it. You still got to do the job. So
exactly, it's nuts. I'm just buying a house, and those prices are going up too. So
yeah. Well, we had actually got the invite from that Benchmade comment I made. That was it the thin one called? I can't remember.
The Narrows.
Yes, the Narrows.
Let's talk about price.
Yeah. Everybody's blowing that up. Everybody's blowing that Narrows up.
For those of you that are not familiar with the Benchmade Narrows, here's a picture of it. And you can see the price behind there, $522. And that's from a retailer. The list price from Benchmade is $580. Yeah.
They've been playing with the $500 range for a while. I mean, if you remember, like they did that Bally song with the magnetic latch. That was about like 500 and some odd bucks. And then there was like the Infidel way back in the day was already $420. Like that's not like that out of the realm, you know. For
they do the custom shop stuff too, don't they?
But
yeah, they do their gold class, right?
Yeah,
the gold class, but that's different though because usually those. Like that's their
But don't they do custom builds
knife.
too? Like, don't they do like where you a certain knife, whatever model that is that year, and they build it how your spec is to what steel and everything else? Don't they do that?
Yeah, I think you can go in and customize a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like I wouldn't call it a custom. Like I ordered a barrage from them in M4, and I put like some, I don't know, toxic green accents to it with a black handle. It was a really sweet little knife. And then I even had them do, you can like have them do like a laser print on the blade.
Right.
Do all kinds of cool stuff. So you could, I would say it's more of a personalized knife.
Yeah.
Versus like a custom.
Yeah, I think the narrow
is pretty like, cool.
It's one of those niche things. I guess like the bug out came out when I was kind of out of the collecting thing. So when I came back and saw everybody huge about the bug out, and the bug out definitely set standards that people are chasing. They're still to the day chase. And, you know, it's not something, an attribute in a knife that I look for, but to have a really thin, lightweight knife like that, who else is making something like that? I'm just posing the question because I don't know. It's not my style. It's not what I crave for in a knife. But, you know, from a machining point of view, to make something thinner is not always easier. So,
right.
I could kind of sort of in my mind think about them having problems with titanium warping and, you know, steel with the heat treat warping, and that, you know, all that flatness and parallel is super critical for a knife like that. So I could kind of sort of justify, like, if I had to build a knife like that, I guarantee I'd charge more than $580 for it personally. But
yeah, because the whole thing is like just a hair over 1/4 of an inch.
I know, that's nuts.
The overall thickness.
Crazy.
And I think Luck kind of nails it here. He goes, it's the overpriced knife that nobody asked for.
Right.
People would have been more excited with a V2 Anthem.
I mean, I can see that. I can see the point, but there's probably somebody that really wanted that somewhere. I mean, they had to make it for somebody, right?
If I take the price out of the equation on the Narrows, if I like, if you didn't tell me how much it cost and you handed it to me, I really like it.
Yeah.
I really liked the knife.
I've heard good,
and
good. Yeah.
I would have kept it had the price have been more tolerable for me, but it wasn't a $500 knife to me. And I know a lot of people bought it, and a lot of people are claiming it might be a collectible because people will realize later that maybe they missed the boat and they may be worth more. Speculation, who knows?
Yeah, it's always a 50-50 shot.
Outside of the price, I really liked it. It was super cool in the pocket. The action was superb right out of the box. The Benchmades or the bug outs that I've always gotten have been very stiff when you take them out of the box. Yeah, this one was perfect. I mean, it's on bearings. I mean, it's a great knife at a really crazy price, but I liked it.
Yeah, and then how much is the warranty worth? Like I hear a lot of people talk about, you know, the Benchmade warranty is so good, but you got other companies like, you know, pretty much you can go across the board from Microtech to Medford, and like their warranty is still pretty much the same, is it not? Like, is Benchmade offering more than those people?
I've never had to use Benchmade warranty, so I don't know, but I have heard people say that their customer service and their warranty process is quick and easy, and they're super helpful.
Right.
I have no personal experience.
I've used Benchmade's customer service and warranty before, and it is really good. I've used Microtech's many years ago. Mm-hmm. I had one of those crazy Venom Techs. I don't know if you guys remember one of those.
Yeah,
it's like a 5-inch blade inside of a little Ultratech handle and had a little sheath because the blade still sticks out when you retract it. So it was fine, but the button was so damn stiff on it, so I had them fix that. Mm-hmm. And they were great too. I had actually terrible experience with Medford. I had an early Praetorian with a 3V Vulcan blade, and the blade was warped. Like you put the thing on the ground and the blade was just like twist.
Right.
And so when I hit up Amy, you know, basically most of it was trying to convince me how special of a knife it was, which it was back then. But not to touch it and this and that. I'm like, okay, how about you like kind of like grind the flats, because I know you ain't gonna re-Vulcan it for me, and we'll leave those polished and you can leave the flats Vulcan, you know, but let's turn it into like a straight knife, you know, somehow. And it turned in, at some point she's like, well, maybe you should sell it. I'm like, you want me to sell a fucked up knife to somebody? Like, it just wasn't a good conversation overall. So I did sell it. I told the guy who bought it what it was, and he still loved the shit out of it. So I said, here you go.
I have a great Medford story, actually, for warranty stuff. And it wasn't even warranty, but I was in a bad motorcycle wreck. And when the Praetorian Tees first came out, they had like a stainless pocket clip with 2 standoffs on them.
Yep.
Me and my wife were like one of the first 2 people to get them. We just drove up there and ordered ours before he was in his 2nd or 3rd shop he's in now or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got in a bad motorcycle wreck. I broke my pelvic in 3 places. And
oh, good Lord.
That knife was on that side that I slid on. And that whole side of the knife just got mangled. And I told him, I was like, I was just in a bad wreck. I just want my knife fixed, just, during recovery. I sent it to them, and they just sent it right back brand new. No questions asked, nothing. And it was completely 100% my fault. I explained the whole situation, but they still just fixed it and sent it back to me. Now, these are the early days. I don't think Amy was even working there at the time. So this is like early days.
But still, see, and to be fair, my experience was with Amy, not Greg. Like, I didn't get to talk to Greg.
Correct.
So that's probably a different thing too, I would imagine. Right. Plus, that's a cool ass fucking story, man. I'd fix the knife for you too.
I wish I still had that knife, but I didn't. I sold it somewhere along the line. But
yeah, I've had good and bad experiences with Medford warranty, so we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it's kind of hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah, but I guess that was the question I was posing. Like, is that Benchmade value? Is that worth more money than someone else's? Even if you had to jump through hoops to get your knife fixed, does that warrant the extra money that some people say it does?
I think the whole thing as a package needs to be justified in your eyes, right? Is the knife good? Is the warranty good? It's like a whole package deal, right?
Oh,
the blade steel, do you like the way it looks? Does it fit well in your hand? Does it fit in your pocket? And if the answer is yes to everything, just go buy it. Who cares?
Agreed.
At some point, like, we can all like price police, and I do it too all the time. Like, when I see like the maker make an $1,800 knife and I see it flip for $3,600, I'm like, damn. Are you going to split that with the maker?
That is kind of
and when it happens at the show right next to the maker, that drives me nuts. Go to the parking lot at least, people.
So for me, that's kind of a thing like that, kind of like I just think it's an ugly thing in the knife world, because I'm not like, that's not the group that I belong to. And that, everybody has their own thing, right? And those groups are allowed to be, regardless of what I think. I'm nobody. Right. But from sitting in my own shoes with my eyes looking out, to me, that's just not the crowd that I jive with, because I'm an enthusiast. As a matter of fact, like, I was talking to Dirk because I saw a Kurt American knife that was like very, very marked up. I was like, tell him, like, well, shit, I have this one-off bolster lock. He's never made any other bolster lock. He's got Westy. I'm gonna sell the fucker for 20 grand. I'm just kidding, but like, it's the joke. It's the joke of it. It's like, if I wouldn't sell it for that much. As a matter of fact, if I did sell it, I paid $13 for it. I think $13.50, somewhere around there, to build it with them. And then maybe now it's probably worth, like, I guess from what I see, maybe $3,200. I would sell it for $2 grand. That's what I would sell it for. Yeah. Make a little extra money because it's a really special knife, but not like rip someone for it. And then the other thing too is I would make sure it goes to a good home, because that's a special knife. People don't give a shit about that, and that's cool too. But for my collection, my stuff, like, that's kind of like where I kind of watch where things go. I've told people no for crazy amounts of money for some cool blades I have, just for that very reason.
Well, when you're ready to get rid of that one, you let me know first.
All right.
Just saying, because that is a cool one, and for $2 grand, it's in that $2 grand range for sure. I'm good. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but the backstory with that one.
I know the whole story. Again, that's why I would take it. Like,
that's one of those special ones to me.
For me, it's not necessarily about the actual item. I mean, the item's got to be cool. but it's about the story and the people around the item that makes it amazing if the item's cool to begin with.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like personally, when I watch YouTube, I gravitate towards more of that style of YouTube people that have that personal story they tell about the knife or with the knife, more than a reviewer that just kind of goes through the stats and it's kind of more dry, you know, like I like the personality of it. Like that's me personally. That's what I more gravitate towards, that type of content, you know. Like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the personality, and there's a bunch of stuff. I watch some knife content, but I watch a lot of other content, all kinds of weird stuff. And I've stumbled across some people that just, they have this amazing personality, and it almost doesn't matter what they're talking about that episode or that video. I'm just kind of drawn into it because I've kind of connected with that person. And I mean, I've never talked to them or anything, but I've just kind of connected with that personality and their style of video. They could be talking about freaking tiddlywinks, and I'd probably watch it just because I'm interested in their perspective on whatever it is they seem to be talking about.
Yeah. Some people are natural born entertainers, others aren't, right? It's just part of that, you know.
Exactly.
And you can tell, that's what I like about YouTube. You can tell if someone's being sincere or not being sincere. You know, it's pretty easy to kind of watch a couple videos and know if you're jiving with a guy or not, or if he's full of shit or not. You know, like, sorry.
I think it all kind of works itself out in the wash, and you have some channels that like really grow really fast and really big, and then people realize that it was a lot of hype and BS and just, you know, you don't need to point people out. It just happens. People just, karma happens, and then they realize that that's not the person that they thought they were. That wasn't the person that, you know, they want to hang out with. Things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Craig says charisma goes a long way. Yeah, it's all about personality. Think about the people that you have as friends in the real world. It's people that you like, people that you hang out with. Like, they may not even be into the same stuff as you, but you're friends with them because of their personality, their charisma, their, you know, it's way more about the person than the items that they may or may not be talking about.
Yeah. But it's also cool that the knife is the bonding agent with a lot of the knife community too. Like, I've met so many people, especially here. We have local AZ knife meetups, and it started off with like 4 of us, and it's kind of expanded to quite a few more. And I've met so many cool people from that I otherwise in life probably would never run across, probably would never have a conversation with it. And it's not that we're even into the same knife; it's just knives in general are the bonding agent. And I think that's so interesting about the community as a whole. Like, it all kind of attracts a bunch of different folks, and we all can bond over that one thing. Like when you go to shows and everybody's all excited, just the whole room, it feels the energy. It's so unique to me. It's not like going to a gun show or motorcycle show or whatever else you're into, car show, whatever. It's so unique to me personally.
Yeah, it's really all about the people, and the item brought us together. But like Alex and I, we talk a lot just about life. Like, we'll get on the phone and we'll talk for an hour, 45 minutes, whatever. And we won't even talk about knives. Talked about how his day was and what crappy thing happened to me, or, you know, this stupid thing at my work. And kind of, we just vent about stuff because we're just friends, regardless of the knife stuff. Either of us could sell all our collections, stop YouTube, all that, and we would still talk all the time just about life. And that's really what it's
be friends.
You guys meet through knives, or did you meet through another community?
Knives.
Knives.
Yep.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, that shit was funny, man. I saw, because I saw Dirk on the Facebook groups. I'm like, who the hell's this guy posting these crazy ass socks with these knives? And then one day, I think the thing that I reached out to him first for was like, just ask him a question about that grenade, Damascus Medford he had.
Yep.
That thing was so sick. And somehow I ran into one of his early videos on YouTube, like very early on. And I went and messaged him on Facebook. I'm like, dude, you're the guy. I'm like, I know, like, wait, you're doing a YouTube channel? And then I just started like, we started chatting it up. I started sending him a bunch of shit. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And then I found out that he was in LA, 6-7 hours from me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then I was just talking to somebody the other day. We had gone back and forth on Instagram, just talking and chatting and stuff about maybe, you know, just whatever, maybe get, you know, whatever, just sharing some knives for his channel that's coming and stuff like that. And I go, yeah, no, I'm here in Napa. He's in Sacramento. It's an hour from me.
Oh yeah, that's not far at all.
Another guy, I actually traded something. And I sent him my address so he could ship me the knife. And then he sent me his. He's also in Sacramento.
Oh wow.
And we've been talking for like a year or more and didn't know we were right here with each other.
Oh, wow.
It's too funny.
Always pretty cool.
Do you guys have knife meetups too? Like local knife meetups?
No, there are some in the Bay Area. There's like a group, but I'm not part of that group for some reason. I guess Therapeutic Edge hasn't seen fit to invite me to his little private group, but okay, whatever. And by the time theirs is like 2 hours away from me by the time where they go to meet up. So it's kind of okay. But like a Therapeutic Edge, him and his wife will come up to Napa and we'll have lunch, or we'll go down to where they live in like San Ramon area and have lunch.
Right.
And so we do get together with a few like individual people.
Right.
But I'd like to do some more of that kind of maybe, you know, not super structured, but something like, you know, once a month or every other month, you know, meet somewhere for lunch and bring a few knives and chat.
Yeah. Personally, I really enjoy that. That's it's almost like a mini blade show when you meet.
Yep.
It's all personal. It's all your buddies, or just become buddies anyhow. But Chris Cueball has hosted 2 or 3 of them that I've been to, and it's basically like he just welcomes you to his house. He has a huge table. You just throw all your knives on the table, and everybody else throws their knives on the table, and you just kind of sit there and BS and make some really good friends from those little house meetups, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually used to do one for the LA area where like we would do a California meetup. Yeah. And I almost started it back up again. I know that's what Jim's talking about. But like I had like a crazy Shirogorov collector. His name's James. Dirk knows him.
Yep. He's a cool dude.
I had like, yeah, and you bring out like culture tags and stuff like that. And then, I mean, it got to the point, I think there was like about, I think 10 or 12 of us that would meet up like every 2 weeks. We'd go to this restaurant spot, but we'd sit outside and they all knew us. So they knew we were going to pull out a bunch of knives and they were cool with it. And then, so we just meet at the same spot, like on Sunday nights and just kick it and like share knives and stuff like that. And after a while, I think my work schedule changed. I couldn't do it much anymore. But yeah, me and Jim and a couple other people and James too talked about doing it again because it's fun, you know, to like just share and shoot the shit and catch up with your buds.
Not that there's a lot of people in Napa, but once I get over to the new house, it's got a killer backyard, so I could really actually do something pretty cool there. For any of the Bay Area, Sacramento people, if they want to drive to the Napa area an hour-ish away.
Well, that's out of town, right?
There's a lot.
The what?
That'd be out of town then, into the like more of the country, right? Nice drive.
Nah, I'm in town. But like the new place has a better yard and stuff for hosting people if they wanted to come. But you know, like Sacramento's about an hour from me, where a Therapeutic Edge and Women Carry Knives live is about an hour from me. So it's kind of, you know, central to some people.
I got you.
CPM, there's too many people in Napa. There are a lot of people in Napa, but, you know, I got a big backyard, so you can come down. It's fine. And there's great parking on the side street at the new place, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, me and Dirk were talking. I had a great idea for him. I'm like, you need to build an underground knife bunker. That would be
look
fun.
at this. TPM was down in town yesterday and didn't even bother to tell me that he was in town. Like, WTF. I was having dinner with my sister who's in town from out of state yesterday, so it might not have worked out, but really, dude, come on, man.
But yeah, that's fun. And there's a lot of knife people in Los Angeles. A lot. From the Facebook groups and Instagram. I've had a lot of them reach out. I'm kind of one of those people. I don't like being in huge groups of people, you know, like just a couple niche friends that I know well. and that's more my forte. Like all the guys that hung out my thing, like we all knew each other really well. We even took like I would call it like a field trip where we all met up. There's this knife store in downtown LA that like it's huge. It's got like knives all over the wall, all over the center, a lot of Benchmates, production stuff, fixed plates, nothing that you would really like as when you become more of like one of us knife guys, like, you know, it's probably not something you're gonna buy in there, maybe, but it was just fun to go in there and look. So first we went into like the indoor mall in downtown LA, grabbed some like good grub, and then we went to the knife store, hung out, flipped all their knives. And you know, I think that's the busiest probably that store ever looked. But it was a lot of fun, you know. So we tried to do like a couple different things like that, which you guys can always set up there too. You know, but that was pretty fun.
And then we got Paul Mills saying he likes that tiny Ferrum Forge knife. He wants to pick one up one day. That's the Mini Stinger. It's very cool. It's like an inch long, closed. It's super cool. I think that would be awesome to put on a keychain. It comes with like a little keychain chain, you know, like the ball and chain stuff. It's just a super cool knife. And it was like $8 or something.
Lucky for you, I know exactly where each and every one of my knives are. And
hold on, let me get you a big screen here. It is such a cool little knife. And it flips. Alex is probably better at flipping it than I am, but it actually does function.
Let's see. Oh, misfire. There we go.
You have to be intentional when you flip it because there's no mass to the blade. You have to.
You just got to load up your finger a little bit.
You got to kind of work it, but it's what is it? 3V? I don't remember now. Nitro V.
S35.
S35. Yeah, no, it's not cheesy knife. Like
it's all just like titanium and
scales. It's 35.
It's got a little Ford finger choil.
Yeah, dude, it is so freaking cool. Like
I loved it. I actually had to buy the full size one because I bought the mini one first, and I'll show you what the full size one looks like in comparison. But yeah, I actually really like this one too. This one actually ended up being a much better. I bought this to complement this.
Yeah.
But I ended up actually really liking this knife. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the full size one is obviously better for daily carry and all that stuff. But the micro stinger, it is such a cool knife for like $80 or something. It was so cool.
Super cool. Yeah, I like that thing.
And a lot of times we're buying stuff just because it's cool, especially like in that budget world, 50, 60, $100. If it's totally cool like that, it's kind of no brainers.
It's for fun. It's just for fun. I mean, I literally like, if I wasn't a knife guy, I don't think I would buy something like this. Well, dude, I'm getting good at flipping this thing. But for the novelty of just like sharing it, doing a little video on it, I thought, man, you know what? I'm gonna buy that. I think it was on sale too when I got it. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all about having fun, guys. Like that's what I tell my guys at work, even back in the day when I had people, you know, I managed departments and stuff. Work ain't gonna be fun every day because it's
called
work for a reason.
Yeah.
But if at the end of the week you've had a worse time than an okay time, week after week after week, and you're dreading going to work every day, it's time to find a new job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same with knives. If you get tired of doing YouTube and it's a chore, well, then it's time to not do YouTube for a while. Or if you're tired of having knives and buying everything that's shiny and new, then it's time to stop buying knives and maybe sell some. Like, it's got to be fun.
Absolutely.
Craig's got a good point here. The small one's cool. You put on a keychain, you forget about it until you get to the airport. Yep. It is so small and light, you would totally forget it's on your keychain, and that would be the one that you would have to drop in the TSA bucket. Yep.
So that's funny he says that because I have one of those SOG keys. It looks like a key, but it flips out into
Oh,
a little.
yes.
And yeah, I've gotten caught going into a government building with that thing, and they're like, they grab all your shit, and they're like, "Is this a knife?" I'm like,
"Oh,
I
forgot.
totally forgot about that." Yeah, whoopsie. So I went outside. I like had to ditch it because it was like an appointment or whatever, but I like slid it under like a trash can, so hopefully nobody finds it. And then I came back and got it. Yeah.
Yep. I've had to go back to the car before.
Oh.
I've been going to like a baseball game or something and didn't even think about it. And then I see everybody lined up in front of the magnetometers and the metal detectors and all that. I'm like, ah, crap. Let me run back to the car, drop off my stuff, and then come back.
Yep.
It's happened. Flying, though, I've been good. I've flown enough. And when I was in LA, I carried a lot of things that you certainly can't fly with, even back before 9/11. And so I was always pretty good about making sure I was airport friendly before I go to the airport. So I think I'm good now.
Yep. But yeah, that's a good point. Always think about what you got on you, especially when you're a knife guy. Even me, like on my daughter's birthday, we took her to Knott's Berry Farm. And same thing. And Knott's Berry Farm, like from where we parked, it happened to be on a busy day. So we like traveled, right? And then all the way towards the front, I'm like kind of patting my pockets looking for like my pass. I'm like, I felt a pocket clip. I was like, oh shit. But that was a knife, not like a $10 like SOG key. So I went back to the car for that one. Actually, I think it was that ProTech I was carrying. Yeah, it was that one.
Oh yeah. There's some that you're like, all right, it's a $40 budget knife, whatever. Sure, TSA can have it, or Knott's Berry Farm or Disneyland or whatever, no problem. But if it's a substantial knife, no, I'm going back to the car. I'll meet you inside, honey.
Yep, pretty much. So yeah, that's a good fun conversation right there.
Oh, for sure. We've all been there and been like, oops.
Yep, whoopsie. For sure. My wife's like, do you really need to bring a damn knife everywhere? Yes.
My girlfriend just rolls her eyes. She doesn't even really say anything anymore. She's kind of accepted. Like, I'll post a picture on Facebook or something. Like, we're eating dinner and I'll post some stuff really quick and check in. And then she'll look later after dinner. She's like, when did you take those pictures? I'm like, you were sitting right there. Like, it was just the two of us. I pulled my watch out. I pulled my knife out. I took a picture of the food, posted that stuff, and then I started eating. Like, what part did you miss?
I know, like sometimes I'm at the restaurant with my chick too, and I'm like, I want to take a picture of the knife with the watch and the beer or whatever, right? And then, but I don't hide it. Like, I'm like, hold on. And then I put it there and I do my thing, and babe, they're watching us. I'm like, yeah, he just wants to make sure I have a good.
To me now, I just do it, and she doesn't even acknowledge it. That's fine.
Yeah, I just tell her, hey, man, they're only looking because they want to make sure I get the right angle when I'm taking the picture. That's
there
important.
You go. Disorderly EDC says TSA snagged a dive knife from him because he put it in his carry-on, not his checked bag. Rookie move, man. I have not traveled without a checked bag in forever. I don't think I went to LA for a meeting one time and flew in. I checked a bag so that I could take my knife to the meeting and all that. Like, it's just a thing. And then I flew back that afternoon. So. Oh, kitty.
Yeah, sorry, it's the cat room. So she comes to say, hey. She says, hey, on all my videos.
It's all good. We love the cats. So, but anyway, any other last things from anybody here? We've been here for about an hour, and I think
every man enjoys to see a nice piece of pussy every once in a while. You know what I mean? So,
and on that note, we're really gonna wrap up.
Hey, I appreciate you guys inviting me. It was awesome. Thank you.
No, thanks for coming. Man. I'm glad timing worked out well. For everybody, there is a link to Dave's channel in the description. There's also in the comments. I know Stacy's posted them a little bit here and there. So go check him out. Alex's channel is also in the description, as is mine. So I think you guys are already following all of us there. We need to get all the people that are following us over there to follow us over here. But whatever.
Oh yeah, like our subscribers, guys, come on, let's get this shit over 1,000. We'll start doing some giveaways on this thing once we get over 1,000. So yeah,
we got a long ways to go, man.
Where's I never post. Where's your 6,000 subscribers at, Dirk?
They suck. They don't come here. I don't know why.
I mean, I have a small account, so for me,
I'm over it. I can't even really grow my other channel much either more. I'm like, whatever. I don't even really care about the number anymore.
I don't either.
Just watch the videos. I'd rather have you watch and not subscribe.
Right.
True.
There's one last comment here from CPM. Is the French Laundry worth it? So the French Laundry is a Thomas Keller restaurant in St. Helena, about 20 minutes north of me, maybe 30 minutes. And I did get to go last year in March, I think it was. 6 of us went, very expensive, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It's not something you do every day. It's something that you have to get a reservation for, like on the 1st of the month. And it's a set price, a set meal, and it's $300 or $400 a person. And that's without wine. And it's fantastic. I would absolutely do it again.
I thought it was some sort of, never mind.
Yeah, no. So if people would like to plan a trip, I know Wilson's here. If Wilson and Detroit and Craig want to come in and we try to schedule something around that, I would absolutely go again. It was fan-freaking-tastic. You're there for like a 3-hour meal. It's great. And on that note, we'll let everybody get going back to their weekends. Dave, thanks for joining. Alex, as always. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks with another guest.